Hey gorgeous ones. All right, so I've been working on this look. I kind of been wearing it a lot, but I kind of but I wanted to like really refine it and figure out how to show it. And this is my glowy skin for oily skin girls, because I am combination. My T-zone, this nose, this forehead can break down, and so I wanted to create a nice glowy look for the summertime that, if you know, we could wear as oily skin girls. So if you would like to see how I created it, some thoughts about it, how, what, you know, where it came from, don't go, yeah, I don't know why I say don't go anywhere you watch it, right? Okay, be right back. All right, so let's talk about this look. It's very glowy. As you can see, there's a lot of glow going on, and there's an all over glow. Now let me tell you what is happening. I know, like, it's summertime and we really want to look pretty and glowy, but as an oily skin girl, summertime can be a challenge, because especially depending on where you're at, it's hot. Some places are humid, like here in Chicago, and so there is this fine line between glow and oil slick, and we all must, you know, we step on it all the time trying to, I know I have, and I know a lot of people want to have the glowy look, but you don't want to look, you know, oily either. So so I've been working on how to do it, because I really like that look for the summertime. But I've always, you know, been kind of, I don't know, I still need to be matte, child, because, you know, it can go south real quick. So these are the steps that I have found that will create a really nice glowy look, but still keep you matte. So now let me say, there's some steps involved. This is not one of those 1, 2, 3 things. If you really want to have a glowy natural look like this one right here, because trust me, I got a full face going on, you know, it's going to take a few extra steps. So there's the glowy steps and the matte steps that I use. Now with this look, just so I can say this ahead of time, I'm using a powder foundation, because really my skin has been looking pretty good, so I don't feel the need to go really super full coverage. So however, I will discuss how to do it when you're using a heavier foundations and things, because, you know, summer is about lightness and everything, and we want to look as pretty, but we still want to have that fresh glowy look. So if you would, you know, want to see how I made this happen, we about to do it right now. Oh, I forgot to say, my intention was to do a bronzy glowy look, but it wound up being a peachy glowy look. So, you know, if you want to do this bronzy look, feel free. My intention was bronze, but I wound up doing a really peachy look, which I think looks really good on me. But okay, go on, let's go and watch me set it up and do it. All right, see you in a minute. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to start out with the Revolution Cut Crease Canvas to prime my eyes. And now I'm going to go in with the BH Cosmetics Color Festival palette. That's their festival palette for this year. I'm using Experience first, and I'm going to be putting that all over my eyelid, because I want this to be like a really natural look. So I want this to be the base color for my whole eye. And so I'm going to make sure that I get a nice build it up nicely, because I want it to be light, like maybe a medium on it. So I want it to show up, and it's going to be, and on me it comes off like a very peachy beigey color. Alright, so one of the things I wanted to mention is that Revolution Cut Crease is very wet, and so you only want to use a small amount of it. Put it all around your eyes, and then you want to like dab it off, because it will stay wet, and that way you can like set it, so you could just dab it off until you get it down. Alright, next up is Chic, and I'm going to be using that in my outer corner into my crease. And so what I'm doing is I'm creating a very natural eye look. Not too much, not too over the top, not too, you know, well, I won't even say it, but you know, SW, wink, wink. And this is a very natural glowy look. So I want the eyes to I don't want the eyes to overpower the look. So that's why I'm doing a very, you know, minimal eye look that is all about just, you know, just a little color with some shimmer. All right, next up, I'm going to start putting on my lids. I'm gonna layer on, this is the JCat Beauty Pris-Metal Chrome Eye Mousse in Houdini. And this one has kind of like a green undertone to it, but it's not too much. So it's kind of like a bronzy with a green undertone to it. So I started out there and I dabbed that on both of my eyelids. Now the thing with these is that you have to move kind of fast because they're kind of thick, but not really. So it's best to like do it the fingertips and then just dab it and move it around so you can get it on really, really fast. Because if you don't, you're gonna be stuck with it like a glob of it. Now next up, I'm going to use the Pris-Metal and Melted Crystal, and that's more of an orangey color. So together it gives it like this peachy bronzy vibe to it. So it's more of a peachy with a little hint of bronze underneath it. Hence my peachy glow that was supposed to be bronze but really didn't turn out bronze. Oh well. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, now that I have that on, is I'm just going to, you know, work on blending to make sure that the glitter, the shimmer blends in with the other shadows. So I'm using the Chic around the eye. So I'm taking that and I'm just taking it around the eye, then the crease, to make sure that there's a nice blend between those. And it's just enough to give it definition, but not too much. And then I'm gonna take Experience again, and I'm gonna go over the top just to blend out that Chic and the Experience. So it's a nice seamless transition line. Looks very natural on the eyes. Just a nice pretty glow on the eyes with a very hint of color. All right, so next I'm going to be priming, and I'm going to use the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. Now, a good drugstore alternative, if you don't have that, is the One Heck of a Blot primer by Soap and Glory. Now, the thing with this is that trying to have the glow, you still have to control the oil. So you really want to use a really good mattifying primer. And baby, let me tell you, the Becca is such a good mattifying. And then it's a poreless, so it blots out the pores. And that's why I said use another good one is the Soap and Glory if you're looking for a drugstore alternative. All right, so now we're going to start putting on the glow. The glow is coming. And so what I'm going to use is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. Now, a good drugstore alternative is this LA Girl right there, Luminous Glow. I promise you, it's a spot on dupe. So what I'm going to do, as opposed to, I'm going to be layering. So I'm putting on the Charlotte Tilbury first. Excuse me. Putting it all over my face, and yes, I'm putting on a lot. I know it looks like a lot, but it really winds up not being that much. So I'm gonna buff it all over my face. And as you can see, as I'm putting it on, you can see how it's this luminous, really pretty glow on the skin. And so I'm using that, and I want to put that all over. Now, for a dry skin person or somebody who you could just wear this. You could just do this and rock it out. But for me, it's a layering thing. So if you can see right now, you can see how luminous it's truly making my skin. All right, so now I'm using a powder foundation. See how beautiful that looks? I mean, it looks beautiful right there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a foundation over it. I'm using a powder foundation. I'm using the Makeup Forever Velvet Matte Blurring Foundation. A good drugstore alternative is the Maybelline Superstay. They do very similar things. However, I'm gonna say that this makeup forever is everything. Now, of course, you can use a liquid foundation over it. I'm choosing a powder because it's kind of like a 2-in-1 thing. So once I put this powder foundation on, I'm not gonna set it. You'll also notice I'm not using concealer. Right now my under eyes are looking pretty good, and when I use the matte velvet blurring foundation, it just seems like it looks really nice without me having to put on a concealer. Now, of course, I could for depth and all that other stuff, but that would have just been one more layer underneath the powder. And so you can see like the powder looks good. Now you can still see, you know, the luminous underneath it. Now the next up is bronzer, and I'm using this Flower Beauty bronzer. It is the Luminous Heatwave bronzer in Sunkissed, and I like it because it's a very neutral bronzer, but it still has a slight sheen to it, a little luminosity to it. So we're just kind of building up the glow on the face right now. We're just building up that glow. Now, by the way, I meant to say, if you want to use a liquid foundation over the Charlotte Tilbury, whatever illuminator you're using, that's fine too, but just understand that you want to be, you want to do like a skin tinted moisturizer, or a veil would be, or a medium coverage. A full coverage is going to take away, so you might have to mix in your illuminator. All right, now let's talk blush. So I'm going to be using the Tarteist Pro, and I'm going to be using the color Amp. Now, drugstore alternatives are, of course, any Milani baked blush, and another one is the Flower Beauty Flower Pot in Warm Hibiscus. Because what you want to do is, you know, continue adding subtle glow. You don't want the glow to be too much from the additional products. You want this to be just a very subtle glow that looks like you're just, you know, been out in the sun. That vitamin D has hit you, and it's just got you just looking all glowy, girl. Just all glowy. That's what we're going for. That is the look we're going for. All right, next up is highlighter, and I am using the Lunar Beauty highlighter in Venus. Now, of course, alternative is the J-Cat Beauty Baked highlighter, especially in the moon and back. That one kind of mimics this color that I'm using. I really like these Lunar Beauty ones by Yes Child Manny, because they can be subtle or they can be built up. You can see right there, you can see the glow on there, but it's not so bright that it's, you know, so overwhelming that you look like, oh, I done just threw some stuff on. I done just threw some, you know, look at her with all that highlighter on. It can be very subtle. It can be very beautiful and everyday, and, you know, just like a very good everyday, very daytime glow. Alright, so now my brows are already done. I did those before I started. And now we're going to get to the last layers of the glow before I put on my lashes and my lipstick and everything. Now, see how the face, you can see the glow, you know, as I move around. You can see this beautiful glow, and it's not too overpowering or anything. So now, the next thing is to get this matte going. I'm going to use the Milani Make It Last Matte Setting Spray, which is awfully nice. I'm telling y'all, that's a really nice one. The thing is that you have to layer matte versus glowy to get the good glow without being oily. So you need to make sure you do that. So now that I've done that, now I'm going to last layer on the Catrice Dewy Setting Spray, Fixing Spray. Locked in the dew before I finish my face. So here we go. All right, so here's the final look. I finished it up. The first thing I did was I put on my lashes. These are the Koko lashes in Allure. They're very natural looking lash. And then my next alternative is the Kiss Poise lashes. That's a great drugstore alternative. Now, the next thing I did was I used a rose gold eyeliner in my waterline, and then I finished up with my mascara, which is the Wander Beauty in Mile High Club. On my lips is the Colourpop Ultra Blotted Lip in Vitamin C with the Milani Full On Lip Plumper in Tropical Shine on top of it. So this is my peachy glowy look for oily skin girls. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. Oh, and as always, be bold, be brave, be fearless, be free. See you later.